Praise God. And thank you again for reading, Jeff, and for all of your input as well. And now we are going to move on to Isaiah, air conditioner. What's up, Isaiah? Got to unmute yourself, Isaiah. Can't hear you. Isaiah.
Hello.
There you go. Yes, yes,
All
we
right.
hear you now.
All right. What's good, man, Josh? My fault. I was putting my headphones on.
What's going
First of all, I just want to say, great class. Thank you for the
on? Praise
edification
God.
and the enlightenment in the class. Even though God is a very obsessive parent, He's a good parent. I thank Him for that because
A helicopter parent.
if He wasn't as interested in me as He is, then I would be in a very bad place. So I just thank Him for that. Um, I got questions about tassels, like a good bit of questions. My first
Okay.
question is, I was like, when God said they had to have some blue in them, I looked at the
Mm-hmm.
the word for that, and it said like violet, but then it also said blue.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if it was like blue or purple that had to be in the tassel.
Um, that's a very good question. And I actually had a conversation with Jeff about this a long time ago, but it wasn't about the tassels. It was about what color robe did they put on Jesus? Because in the King James, depending on where you read it at, one would say scarlet and the other one would say purple. In the Hebrew, and if you ever, I was an art major before I changed my study to psychology. You got something called a color wheel. Have you ever seen a color wheel before?
Yeah.
Anybody in the chat? Are y'all familiar with the color wheel? Anybody in the chat? Like the Hebrews didn't have the color wheel per se, but what the color wheel does is it gives you a range of color as far as how it transitions from color to the next. So when you see blue or you see violet on the color wheel, you just get a color that falls into that spectrum. You understand what I'm saying? That's what a spectrum is.
So it's like an in between.
It's like an in between, but more specifically, it's like some room to move. Like it's not one set color. It's anything that ranges from blue to violet
Hmm.
and anything in between. That's how colors work today. That's why the reason why you can get two people in the same room and have them look at the same color, and one person will say, "Oh, this is like a greenish color," and somebody say, "No, it's turquoise." Who's right?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you got something called the color wheel because it gives you a spectrum to work in. So as long as you're the blue or that ribbon of blue or that twisted thread of blue is within that spectrum, you are good. Like for instance, look at Kevin J's thumbnail and Dre's. Look at the shade of blue that they have in their thumbnails. It's like a dark navy blue, right? But then you
Hmm.
also got what is called as a royal blue. And then you got a royal violet and you got a regular violet. The Bible don't specify all of that. But if you do your research, you can see some of the colors that the Jews used, and you can see they had a spectrum that they worked within. But even in the King James Version Bible, when it talks about Jesus' robe, that lets you know that even the color scarlet is in that spectrum, which is why one translation, one gospel says they put on the scarlet robe, and another one says purple. But scarlet and purple are two different colors. Scarlet is more of a red color. So it's about the spectrum. Just get you a color wheel, bro. Get you a color of your tassel, fall somewhere within that spectrum, and you're good.
Okay. But as long as it's like a between blue and violet spectrum, I'm good.
Exactly. Exactly. That's all you got
So
to
I
do.
can I can have like other colors in there too, right? Just as long as it's like blue between violet. Like it doesn't have to be white, right?
Yeah, you can. The only mandatory color that you got to have in there. Other than that, the other colors can be whatever you want.
Okay. Let me see what my next question was. Oh yeah, does it matter like how we tie them? Because I was looking about, I didn't see a specific way like they tie them, but I know nowadays they tie it a certain way. I was wondering if it like mattered how you tie them or
Pattern wise, no, they just have to be twisted together. But that's what it means when it says ribbon. If you look it up in the Hebrew, it means a twisting thread. It has to be twisted. It doesn't give a specific. pattern of twist. It just have to be twisted in some way.
Okay. And like, does it matter if they're like frayed or like dirty or anything? Like if you like wear them for a long time, it might get a little fuzzy.
Well, let me ask you a question. Does it matter if you wear the same T-shirt over and over again and they get frayed, or what are you gonna do? You're gonna
Gotta
wash
wash
it,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Same thing with your tassels. I mean, they're a part of their clothing. They're a part of your clothing. Like when you wash your shoes, do you leave the shoestrings dirty or do you wash the shoestrings too?
I don't wash my shoes.
You never wash your shoes before? You never put a toothbrush on your shoe?
I mean, I've done something like that, but like individually,
That's what I'm
like
saying. Like, see,
dedicated.
like if they're all white shoes, sometimes see we had this thing. What happened when I was growing up? If your all white shoes got dirty, of course you can use a toothbrush on your shoes, but on the shoestrings, what we'll do, we'll take them out of the shoe, and we'll just put some dishwasher liquid on them, and then we'll just rub them together in the ball like that, real good in your hand, and that'll make your shoes strings white again.
Yo, that's like some old school stuff because my mom did that same thing, and she put our white shoes in the washing machine. They came out crispy clear too, though. But we
Right,
wash the shoestrings by hand, or we put them in the washing machine too.
right. And sometimes you got to be careful because some shoes you put in the wash machine. Oh my boy, you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And like just to be super clear, the whole part doesn't have to be like tied together just as long as the majority of it is tied together. Because I got one where they were a little long, so I had cut them at the end, and then they were kind of like open, like the threads were opening up at the end where I cut it at.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. See, like here are the ones that Nautica made for me. Right. This is how they are tied online. You follow what I'm saying? Like you can just go online and buy them, and you can even go online and see the pattern that they tie them in, so you can see exactly how they're doing it. So you're good. Most places you go where you buy some fringes that they've already done and they've already tied them. Like Nautica ties them just like the ancient Israelites did. You follow what I'm saying? She went online, she did the research, she learned how to do them. She tied them exactly how the ancient records show. You follow what I'm saying? And also, Keanu knows how to tie them. The ABT sonographer, he knows how to tie them too. They when they did their due diligence, they did their research. Long time ago, I used to know how to tie them, and I taught people at ABT this long before I met anybody on this stage. Long before I met Ariel, Dre, Kevin J, Jeff, anybody. I used to know how to do it, but I just stopped. I used to know how to tie them, just individually myself. I used to know how to do it. But now we got, why should I do it when I got, two sisters who know how to do it? And they do it better than I did anyway.
Yeah. And yeah, the I saw in Matthew 23, I think it was verse 5, where Jesus
Mm-hmm.
was talking about how the Pharisees they wear their tassels like super long for people to see,
Uh,
and then they
mm-hmm.
wear those I don't know how to say the word, but like it's like the leather
Phylacteries.
box.
Phylacteries.
Yeah,
Phylacteries. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I was wondering, one, is it okay if we wear our tassels long, or can we wear them? Like,
You
does it
can
matter how long they
there's
are
no
or short they are?
there's no set length to how long you can wear them. Jesus' point was they made them extra long to make them noticeable, to show
Okay,
off. They exaggerated any accessory that you could wear, and they made sure that everybody could see them. It's the same thing that a lot of women do today when they wear like bright color wigs and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, y'all know I tell y'all this all the time. Brother Josh love it all. I like wigs, I like weave, I like low haircuts. I don't judge no woman off of that. All I ask that you coordinate it. Don't put on no blue wig, and the only thing you got on is that blue wig. You better dress or some blue shoes or a blue t-shirt, the same color to make it make sense. Don't just go out with a blue wig. I care about coordination. Just coordinate for me. That's all I ask. Right? But just getting back to that, that's the same reason why you'll have a woman just wear a blue wig. She knows it's gonna draw attention. That's the whole point of her doing it, just to draw attention. That's not normal. That's out of the ordinary. That's what he was getting at the Pharisees about. They were doing it making their fringes extra big, extra long, so they can be noticeable. Putting these phylacteries on their forehead. You know, the first thing you usually see when you approach a person is their face. So they got these little leather boxes with um copies of Torah verses in and stuff like that, right? And he was getting on them for why they were doing it. Because Jesus wore fringes himself. I know I showed you that in the class before, right? Or in a study, he wore fringes.
Yeah, I know. I think I knew about that before I came across you. Because I like watch
Exactly.
shows and knew that they wore those. So
Right. So you know that he wasn't condemning the practice of it itself. It was the fact that they were trying to be extra with it to get attention.
Right. The
mhm.
Pharisees got long fringes to say they were better than you. The Pharisees
Exactly.
wore big fringes to show outwardly that they served God more than you. So they just wanted to belittle you and lift themselves up. So they made their fringes extra long so that they could have status over you. Whether you wear them short or whether you wear them long, as long as you don't have a mindset or attitude that this makes me better than my brother or sister, then that's where
Mhm.
you be in error if you got that attitude. But if you don't have that attitude, short or long is good.
Right.
Okay. And about those for the leather boxes with scripture in them, do we still have to wear those?
We never had to wear those. That was something that the Pharisees started doing, basing off a literal interpretation that put on Deuteronomy, where it said the commandments had to be as frontlets between your eyes. They took that commandment literally because they were trying to be extra, and they literally put the commandments as frontlets between their eyes. We never had to do that.
Is that where it says like when you wake up in the morning, like say like the Lord our God, Lord is God is one? Is that verse?
That's the Shema. It had some of the phylacteries had that in there, but that's not specifically what it's referring to. It was just in Deuteronomy 8, I believe, when it was telling you how the commandments, or as to be like metaphorically speaking, the commandments were supposed to be like on your forehead and in your heart. You follow what I'm saying? And they took that literally, though. The Pharisees did, not all of Israel, and they made it a literal commandment. Even the so called Jews today, some of them still do that, but not all of them.
Okay, and we don't have to say the Shema when we wake up, right? Like every morning.
No, not like as a commandment. A lot of stuff they did was ritualistically, but that wasn't a commandment that we had to do. They had routine and stuff that they set up in Israel just based off of order and keeping things going, but it's not a commandment in the Torah itself that says you have to do it like that.
Okay. And dang, never mind. I'm probably not gonna be able to ask this one. All right, thanks for your time, brother Josh.
No problem, Isaiah air conditioner. That's what the AC stands for me.